Let's take a closer look at the stories and people shaping our nation right here on Zoom In. I'm Menchu Macapagal. From OFW to full-time globe-trotter, one Filipino has visited 195 United Nations recognized countries armed with just a Philippine passport. This was an accomplishment in itself as the Philippine passport's visa-free acceptance dropped 2 notches from rank 73rd to 75th, with only 67 out of 226 destinations allowing entry without a visa. What does it take to overcome these challenges and redefine travel for the Filipino? Let's hear the story of someone who did just that. What does it take to turn a dream into a record-breaking reality? Let's zoom in on her remarkable story. Kach Umandap, welcome to the program and congratulations on your achievement.
Thank you so much, Ms. Menchu, for this opportunity to speak to your audience.
It is our pleasure, and we're excited to find out exactly how you did it. Take us back to 2009, right? Yun yung first time na lumipad ka internationally to work as an OFW.
Yes, actually, I want to clarify that I first work as an like OJT muna. Like I graduated from UP Los Baños, like with a degree of economics. And usually, like my plan was to go back to school, to law school, and then mag foreign affairs. So I said like, okay, I'm just gonna do OJT in Kuwait. And when I was there, like OJT lang muna, but then like I got discouraged, like oh my god, these are like how OFWs, like it's different because my first task was to document the plight of domestic helpers. It's like wow, ito pala pinagdadaanan. I got like really sad and stuff. And at the same time, I was 20 years old, ambitious, and the salary in Kuwait was good. So I ended up working for the last like for 2009 to 2013 as an OFW. I worked for an international hospital, and I ended up working for an oil company doing quality assurance, and then I quit my job to go backpacking.
So what led you to kind of leave all of that, to just leave everything behind and go backpacking? Parang I just want to travel. What led you there?
Yeah. What led me there was a dream. I really dreamt of traveling the world. Like really I was 7 years old, I really want to travel the world. And I thought like if I took up economics and then I become diplomat, I'm gonna have diplomatic passport, I'm gonna travel the world like free. But when I was in Kuwait, I ended up like meeting people. There's like a community like expats, couch surfing apps. And I was so actively involved, like asking these people, how do you go there? What is backpacking? What is hitchhiking? I was always curious, how can they travel like for free, or how can they save money? And then I've met like a lot of people, but they are like Westerners. There's not a lot of Filipinos, and if you check in, even then it was more difficult for us to go around. But then I quit because that time I got the position I wanted, like a title and a credential that I have for the job. And I told myself, okay, I'm gonna go traveling for 6 months. Even if I quit, I have backup option. Like I can go back to this career, or I can go back to Philippines and take up law or take up masters. And I had $10,000. I was like, okay,
Wow.
I am good. I saved this money for the last few years. This is my capital. And that backpacking thing, it ended up like until yesterday.
For the
Like
last
that I can officially say that I am done with it, but I'm gonna be traveling more, but different.
Okay, in a different way.
Intention.
So you mentioned earlier
Yeah.
that most of the people that you met were Westerners, so they had more powerful passports, right? So what were the biggest challenges you faced as a Filipina traveler with a low passport index nationality?
Okay, first, like the thing is, usually, you know what, like later on, because I've got the confidence to talk, I practice my script, and like I know what I'm talking about, it's good. But if you're a newbie and you're Filipino, most of the time, it's really hard to get as a visa. But aside from, even if you get the visa, just going through the immigration is hard. Like, they usually think of two ways, especially I'm a woman. First, they will think I'm gonna go there, enter, like trying to enter on a tourist visa to end up like working illegally or like TNT or anything. And next is that I am looking for a local guy to marry me and maybe for me to live there and ended up working. But during the time, it was not really common to find Filipinos like me, like OFWs that are remote based. During my time, I was trying to start a trend on my travel blog that we are the new OFWs. We are the remote based. We don't need to stay in one place. I stay in one place up to 1 month to 3 months, depending on how much visa I am allowed. But I am not working. I am not stealing jobs, and I'm not looking for a local guy to marry me. So I've been doing this, this thing for the last since I started my travel blog in 2014. But maybe this is the time now. It's a good timing to especially we have a new department. We have a new department like a migrant workers. Maybe time to consider. There's a new breed of OFWs, and I am one of them.
So digital nomads.
And
Diba?
yes,
That's the
digital
term
nomads.
for it.
But like, it's better to be like OFW remote based, and I've been like
Remote-based.
trying to advocate this for so long, and which is for also for the next generation. And now, like completing this mission, I think I have more voice now to really. Because the agony from my travels started because not everyone knows that we Filipinos can just travel for the sake of traveling in that
Yes.
country and not to look for a job or not to look for anything else.
I'm sure it must have been a daunting task to prepare
Yeah.
for this, like logistically and financially.
Yeah.
How did you pull that off?
I had a team, thankfully. I started on my own, and like I visited first visa-free countries. I had a strategy, you cannot just if you have no money, you have to strategize better. Like, how will you survive? Like, it's like a Hunger Games in the real world. But I always had a goal. This is the goal. Anything that I earn, anything that I did, is the goal is to put in the money so I can travel to these countries. So after I finish, visa-free countries, and I arrive in Colombia. Like, oh God, like all of the visa free are like running out. I need to get visa. But how can I get USA visa? I don't have like a specific job. I don't have this. But thankfully, I have a public personality. And I was like, during the time when I got the USA tourist visa, I was a wannabe travel influencer. Of course, I'm posting like an influencer, but I don't have the followers. And it actually helped me, and which I'm gonna suggest to everyone. If you have this dream, not just to travel like me, but like to go to these countries that are hard to get, USA, Europe, get a public profile, document your travels in the Philippines, document your expensive bags and dada, so they know that, you can afford to get this visa, you can afford to travel, and you can afford to go back to the Philippines. And then eventually, when I started making money with Two Monkeys Travel, I got sponsorship, ended up learning how to do exchange deals, which I've learned from university, I will give you one shout out on Instagram, can you please give me a hotel? It helped that way. But free travels doesn't give you opportunity to travel to countries that are poorer than me. I cannot ask them to give me free hotel if there are more starving people than me. So I ended up starting my online businesses. I own filipinopassport.com. So all of my travels, of course, I collect the stamp and I really network. I know the struggle of getting the visa. So what I did, once I get in the country, I'll try to find who is the best people that I have to meet, who could help me get visa for myself, or the people that I'm gonna do in the future, I could help in the future. But I want to make money, so I have filipinopassport.com. We can help you get visa anywhere in the world, especially in countries that doesn't have embassy and consulate in the Philippines.
Could you give us, kasi sabi mo nga, di ba, na medyo, kung wala kang pera, you have to strategize. Hunger Games in the real world. Could you give us an idea, average ng magagastos mo per trip?
Okay, the average depends on the flight tickets and everything. Pero I will tell you my strategy. Imagine a Filipina, an island girl, going to Antarctica, and the bureaucracy, we don't need visa in Antarctica.
Could you give us, kasi sabi mo nga, di ba, na medyo, kung wala kang pera, you have to strategize. Hunger Games in the real world. Could you give us an idea, like average ng magagastos mo per trip?
Okay, the average depends on what you call it, the flight tickets and everything. Pero I will tell you my strategy. I spend $100 to $150 per day. If the hotel is gonna be $60, I will only eat $20 worth of food. You know, like I have a budget, $150 excluding the flight. If I cannot get the flight for free, like I will, you know, like I ended up learning some tricks, which I'm gonna tell you guys. Like if you have family and friends working for airlines, you know, like tell them please add me on your list, and they'll give you discount. And like I've learned that if someone works with the international hotel, they'll give you like a deal. But technically, I have a budget $100, $150 nung medyo in-afford na. But when I was backpacking, my budget was $10 to $30 a day, and only in cheap countries. But what I've realized, you cannot be cheap in a cheap country. It's better to be cheap in first world countries. You know, like in Europe, pwede ka na maging cheap because even if cheap, like you can eat good, like you know, like basic food, pero kapag naging cheap ka na nga sa cheap pa na bansa, dun ka magkakasakit, dun ka walang security, dun ka walang peace of mind. So my budget is like the harder to get the country, the poorer the country is, I have more budget.
You have more budget.
And the more first world the countries, I have less budget.
Oh, interesting. So, Sudan was your final destination, right? 195th
Yes.
country.
195th,
Why did you
yes.
choose that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, hindi ko siya pinili. Sana talaga nga. Pero siguro pinili ako ni God to make voice about what's going on in Sudan, you know. Since April 15, 2023, there's civil war. All of the Filipinos, OFWs, we were there. We're like you know, like they were brought back to the Philippines, to Egypt, to be evacuated because there's a civil war. No tourists, only even humanitarian couldn't even enter if you Google it. And I am after 7 months really trying different channels, praying everything. Last month I got a clearance that I am allowed to enter. And I am the third tourist that entered the country.
What was the experience like once you got there?
Like it's just surreal, you know, like going to a country where there are really no foreigners who could enter. But you could see these people, they are happy, they have, but I cannot generalize it because this is only the safe zone. Like, if you hear the news, Sudan's capital was Khartoum, but I went to Port Sudan where they moved the entire government, like everything in that city. Like, you do know how hard it is for these people, but just like Filipinos, you could see the grit in them.
So how long did it take for you to finish traveling the 195 countries?
12 years. I quit my job April 30. I started backpacking May 1. I think May 8, 2013. And now I finished January 6, 2025.
Amazing.
And I'm still gonna travel, but like with mission to, this is my passport, you know, like
That's from when you started.
This is the latest one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have another one that was like the life before traveling, and these 5 passports document all of my stamps, all of my entry, all of the visa that I did for my 12 years of traveling.
And what was the most memorable country for you?
I don't think it's a country, but like when I visited Antarctica, the 7 continents, you know, like coming from the Philippines, I live in Laguna. We don't have even an ice skating rink. We have to go to Manila pa to go ice skating to see ice. And my first ever, like, you know, ice bath was in Antarctica, the 7th continent. Imagine a Filipina, an island girl, going to Antarctica, and the bureaucracy, like we don't need visa in Antarctica, it's a continent. But for me to get there, I have to get a visa to Argentina. Like it's like a different kind of level. And I actually, that time, I was 29 years old and I already visited 7 continents, and my 100th country was Australia. And during the time, I was like, okay, I did it, done. But then, you know, you just wanted more. Like, you think you could make an impact. Okay, let's do it another more. But I thought it would gonna be easier because I was at 100, you know, 100 countries, 95 more. Maybe like I did the other one in 5 years. Maybe this one is shorter. But life happens, and it's just getting, you know, like COVID, civil war, and everything. And 7 years later, I've done the other half.
Amazing. So can you share more about the verification process with Nomad Mania World? Ano ba yun?
So like of course everyone can claim they've been to these places, but you know, in this world how many billions we are, there's only 500 people who are verified to travel to every country in the world. And there are different organizations. There's Traveler Century Club, there's Most Traveled People, there's Nomad Mania. There are like, in the Philippines, we have groups like the Filipino World Travelers, and there's Philippine Global Explorers. These are exclusive clubs. If people are collecting cars, there are people collecting stuff, we are people collecting passport stamps. And I think the trend is just getting started. This is just really, it's gonna be booming in the next 5 or 10 years. And these clubs, you know, to get in the club, it's easy. But to get verified with your claim, they check one by one the countries that you've been, to check that you got out of the airport, you got a passport stamp and everything. And thankfully, with me, I have all the documents because I need to get the visa. So like imagine. And thankfully with the travel blog, it helped me to document the entire process. And actually like I accomplished the mission. It's like the Guinness World of Record for the traveler community. And there are already 2 Filipinas who did it. I'm following the path of Tita Odette Ricasa. She's Filipino-American based in Los Angeles, and she finished the mission at 77 years old. She's 79 now, and she did it in 2022. And then there's another one, Tita Luisa Yu. You've seen her. She's viral. She's so famous all around the world. I was just with her in Sri Lanka. She's the oldest Filipina. She accomplished it at 79 years old. She's 80 now. And I am the youngest. And you know what? What's the best? But the difference though is like I am the first one with the Philippine passport, and no dual citizenship, no green card, no second, you know, like just solely with that. But you know what's the best though? Like, I am the youngest, and now I want to encourage the next generation. If I did it at 36 years old, the younger Filipino generation are more ambitious. Who's next? I posted it real time based on my experience with all of my proof that this is what I did. This is what you could, how you can do it better. It's my next mission in life.
Wonderful.
Which maybe another 12 years. We have 82 provinces. Let's see how long it will take.
You founded platforms like Two Monkeys Travel Group, which you mentioned earlier, and Filipino Passport. Can you tell us more about their purpose and how they have actually helped other Filipino travelers?
If you follow the blog since 2013-14, before this AI and everything, if you need anything about visa, and I think if my followers would watch this, if you need anything about visa, you'd go to the blog. Anything, like what's the latest? Because the thing though, like where, you know, like embassies abroad, and they are delayed. But because me, I don't have a boss, and I've been there, I posted it real time based on my experience with all of my proof that this is what I did. This is what you could, how you can do it better. So my blog, Two Monkeys Travel Group, was mostly about how I did it. But if I can do it, this is how you should do it. How you can do it better and avoid the hassle. And until 2023, I started my business, which is FilipinoPassport.com. It's a travel startup. It's like VFS. But the VFS for off the beaten countries, you know, like countries that you don't know how you can enter. But I've been, and I'm here to help you.
Okay, so how do you balance though managing these platforms with your own travels?
Thankfully, I have amazing team. I have people helping me, really. Like, it's just not me doing everything on my own. But of course, I am the one going to these countries. But I had a team who helped me to get the visa, to follow up for me. And
So when you travel,
I think, yeah, that's the best way.
ikaw lang mag-isa, but you have a team helping you back home.
Behind the scene.
scenes.
Para akong ano, alam mo yung parang the first Filipinos who went to Mount Everest, you know, you have people, you cannot do it on your own. Like, even if, pero pag sa immigration, ako nang nakasabak, wala akong kasama. Pero, I have people, you know, like tracking, saan ako pupunta, because I cannot, I need to be responsible as well, you know.
So you mentioned you want to travel still, and you want to train the next generation to be entrepreneurs in the digital nomad arena. So what else do you plan after achieving all of these incredible milestones?
I cannot train entrepreneurs if they don't know how to work for someone else. You need to have a boss first. So like my next goal now, next mission, it's not gonna be 1 year. Like I did it 12 years and I'm gonna take my time. Next mission is to visit provinces, every provinces, maybe islands, in the Philippines, and educate the next generation. But I don't want to do older. I want to do home ground. Like the younger, the better. Like because everyone has the perceived conception like education is really important, but now it's a different world, different times to teach them about the digital skills. So maybe now yung mga bata, they can learn how to edit videos, and then now you can edit videos. It's all about skills. It's not about age. Then you can work for these big YouTubers, na, diba? Like you submit, and I could teach them how can you find jobs by being proactive, and then I recommend and I highly suggest that these young people learn these digital skills, teach them how they can find jobs, and of course they'll earn dollars from these Western people, like a virtual assistant. And why work from home? Like you can study and work, like travel in the weekend, and promote, like really encourage them to travel within Philippines until you have got guts to go abroad and become a digital nomad. But if we start them young, 15, 16, if they're aware of this, not just like randomly playing games, now they could, like edit videos, learn how to write, like learn how to do AI, save as much money, travel within the Philippines. Once you have the passport at 18, get out of the country, travel Southeast Asia. I want to teach them how to strategize their skills because it's different now. So that's my next mission in life.
Wonderful.
Which may be another 12 years. We have 82 provinces. Let's see how long it will take.
So how has this journey changed your perspective on life and the world?
We really need to go with the flow and learn to adapt with the progress of this generation. Because we cannot say, oh, I'm old, I'm left behind. No, because it's changing fast. And I realized, like, with traveling, and the best thing though is, like, when I travel to advanced countries, I've seen it already there, and it's not yet happening in our country. Like, for example, digital nomad movement, it's been going on since 2014, and in the Philippines, we just had our second digital nomad summit, and we're just still implementing about digital nomad visa. So, like, really, we just what I've learned is, like, adaptability with technology and the trend, and how we can use it for the better use, not just for yourself, but for the next people who you can impact if they learn about you.
All right, thank you. Kach Umandap, travel influencer, digital nomad, and the youngest Filipina to visit all 195 UN-recognized countries with only a Philippine passport. Congratulations, and thank you for your time. And we will see you next time as we continue to zoom in on news and narratives that matter. I'm Menchu Macapagal.